Now, Diane, let's look at what you've been doing by deserting poor Michael on the sofa here to run as Labour leader. We discover you now claimed £1,100 on taxis, including an individual claim for £192. Is that acceptable for an inner London MP?
The 190 figure is, I think, a dozen taxi bills.
You put in one, you didn't designate each individual one.
Well, no. When they will publish online the scanned receipts, and you'll see it's just a series of receipts for £15.
But you just put in one bid for 192.
No. I add it up.
Do you think the taxpayer should be paying over £1,000 for you to run around London in taxis?
I don't run around London. What I do is a couple of times a night I take a cab home to Hackney, which costs about £20. Yeah, a couple of.
Why do we have to pay for that? Why don't you just dip into your own pocket?
Because
you're well paid.
Because I don't do it until it's late at night. And in fact, I don't do it anymore at all now because thanks to Ken Livingstone, we've opened a new East London line, and there's a tube station at the end of my road. Before, the nearest tube station was Liverpool Street.
We had to pay for your taxi rides.
Well, you know, it is late at night, and it is only 2 or 3 cabs. When
I go home late at night, I have to pay myself.
Well, Andrew, it's not unusual if you work late for any employer for them to help you with your transport home.
Okay. In justifying your decision, which we talked about before, don't want to dwell on that, to send your son to a private school, you said, quote, West Indian mums will go to the wall for their children. So black mothers love their kids more than white.
Andrew, we've just had, I think, one of the most important budgets in a generation. I've said everything I'm going to say about where I sent my son to school.
No, I'm not. That's what I want to. I don't understand this quote. No. Supposing Michael had said, white mums will go to the wall for their children.
Andrew, I've got nothing new to say.
Why would you say that West Indian mums will go to the wall for their children?
Andrew.
I mean, isn't that a racist remark?
Andrew, I've got nothing new to say. Let's talk about the most important budget in a lifetime.
I'm talking about what you've said. If West Indian mums are as wonderful as you say, why are there so many dysfunctional West Indian families in this country, and so many West Indian young men end up in a life of crime and gangs?
I actually run an awards programme and have done for many years for London's top achieving black children. And actually, Andrew, there's lots of black boys out there working hard and doing extremely well.
Clearly not enough of them for you to send your kid to the local school.
This is going around.
I mean, you didn't want them to go to a school full of kids that had been brought up by West Indian mums.
No, actually, under a Labour government, because this all happened 9 years ago, now, it's in that time, Labour's built 5 new secondary schools in Hackney, and I wouldn't have to make the same decision.
Would you like to make it clear that, in the round, in general, West Indian mums are no better or no worse than white mums and Anglo-Asian mums and so on?
Andrew, I've got nothing more to say.
You don't want to make that clear?
Andrew, I've got nothing more to say.
So you still think West Indian mums
I've got nothing more to say.
Okay. When we look at the positions you take, which are on the left of the Labour Party, what would you say to the criticism, or to the point, that what you stand for, unilateral nuclear disarmament, much higher taxes, much bigger state, these are precisely the policies that kept Labour out of power for 18 years?
I would argue that if the Labour Party had listened to ordinary Labour Party supporters, it would have avoided a lot of gross errors, like the 87p tax, pension rise for all people, which caused a lot of offence, abolishing the 10p tax rate and going to war with Iraq. My view is that a government which listens to its own supporters will be more stable.
Yeah, but what you've stood for in the Labour Party has never won Labour an election.
You're telling me what I stand for. And I'm not quite sure.
Well, you stand for unilateral nuclear disarmament.
Yeah, because
right, so that wasn't wrong.
No,
you want higher taxes.
No, I stand for scrapping Trident. But and generals now are saying Trident was a Cold War weapon.
You're not going to replace Trident with another nuclear deterrent.
I'm stand for scrapping Trident,
and you wouldn't replace it.
Which a lot of people in the
armed forces do. And you wouldn't replace it with something else.
Actually, Andrew, the news is that some of the things I'm talking about in this election campaign, whether it's scrapping Trident, are things
you stand, that... Look, words work in it. Why are you so reluctant to tell me that you believe in unilateral nuclear disarmament?
What I'm campaigning on in this leadership election is scrapping Trident. And yes, I think the ratio in filling this hole in the budget, in filling this hole in our budget, the ratio of 80% public sector cuts, 20% tax rises is the wrong ratio. I think that's right.
I look forward to grilling your opponents in the same way. Michael, Afghanistan, is this mission now in real trouble?
Yes, not necessarily terminal trouble, but I think it has been a very difficult week. Partly because of the very large number of casualties, partly because of the McChrystal resignation. But I think behind the McChrystal, sacking.
Yeah, it wasn't really a resignation, was it?
Is a broader doubt about whether the American surge has had any sort of success. And everybody is having to go out there and say, well, it's taking much longer than we thought. Combined with the fact that both in the United States and in Britain, particularly I think in Britain, it's proving really hard to convince people that there is a connection between being in Afghanistan and saving people's lives on the streets of Britain or the streets of New York City.
Diane, when you see 9 soldiers this week killed, British soldiers, killed in 10 days, you would have to think that the mood for getting out is growing in the country.
It's not just the actual deaths. What you've got in Afghanistan is a wholly disproportionate rate of mutilations, much higher than any...
Oh no, I've seen that too. Horrible, life-changing.
Yeah, and it's to do with the
Do you get a sense public opinion is going your way on this?
I think public opinion wants to see us come out of Afghanistan. No Western countries won a war in Afghanistan for over a century.
Who are you giving your second preference to?
I haven't made up my mind.
Will you tell us when you do?
Of course. You'll be the first to know, Andrew.
It'd be good to find out something.